Hi, I'm Jonah Ericson and I'm in 7th grade.
Hi, I'm Micah Ericson and I'm in 4th grade.
And today we're filming at Blackbird Air Park.
Hey Micah, Mark Stucky. My name is Mark Stucky, call signs Forger. I'm currently a test pilot for Virgin Galactic out of Mojave, California. My background was in the military, starting in the Marines and then finishing up retiring out of the Air Force. But in between those two, I also flew for NASA for 6 years as well as United Airlines. I've kind of got a unusual mix of experiences from fast fighters to large airlines.
Why did you become a test pilot?
I grew up. One of my earliest memories is actually John Glenn's orbital space flight, and I was just barely 4, not quite 4 even. But I remember it seeming very significant to me, and getting the idea that this man was going around the Earth, and thinking that was really incredible and just fascinating. I always grew up fascinated by explorer stories, and to me the test pilots were explorers of the air. So I actually joined the Marine Corps trying to become a fighter pilot with the goal of becoming a test pilot. It was just always something that interested me. But I never thought it was possible until my junior year in college. It was just something that I thought other people could do. So if there's one thing I would encourage young children today is to really pursue your dreams.
Did you have any problems trying to become a test pilot?
Problems? The one thing that stood out to me was I was kind of languishing in college. I tended to be a B student. If something really interested me, maybe I'd get an A. If something didn't interest me, maybe I'd get worse than a B. And once I kind of channelized myself to become that I was going to join the Marines and try to become a pilot, it focused everything and made it easy. For my last couple of years, I got straight A's only because I was focused and I had a defined goal. And that continued on. Even in flight school, I was interested in it, and I got good grades in flight school. To me, the one thing that stands out is you can't plan for every step of your career, but every time I got what I thought was a bad deal, in the end, it turned out to be a good deal. So the other lesson learned is if you think it's a problem, maybe it just makes you better and more well-rounded.
When did you become a pilot?
Well, I started flying when I was 15 by teaching myself how to hang glide, because that was the only way I could afford to fly, was jumping off little hills in Kansas. But then after I graduated from college, I went to join the Marines to become a pilot and started flying in 1981.
What's your favorite plane?
For a day in, day out fun airplane to fly, I really love the F-18. The F-16 is really good. If you were only going to pick a specific one-time flight, nothing tops the SR-71 Blackbird for being able to fly so high and so fast and so exotic. But I really love my day job now, flying Spaceship Two for Virgin Galactic, and that's, I'm sure, will be my all-time favorite vehicle.
Couldn't be a test pilot.
I couldn't be a test pilot. I'd probably still try to work in the business. Like right now, I really believe in the suborbital space tourism business for Virgin Galactic. So if for some reason I couldn't continue to fly, I'd probably still work to try to see that go through. My father was a college professor. I got a sister that's a teacher, and I owe a lot of my success to some of my teachers. And a part of me I've always maybe been interested in going back and being a high school teacher. It would depend on how soon that happened.
What was your favorite part of school when you
I like the variety of things. I tended to like the science kind of classes. I found some of the other classes more boring. It's interesting, as I've gotten older, I'm more interested in everything. I'm more well-rounded now than I think I was as a child.
What was the hardest part of school?
I started school a year earlier than most people, and then I was a slow developer, so I always felt like I was a couple years behind my peers physically, and I would say that was the hardest part of school. It was just always being the smallest guy in the class. You're asking personal questions. That's not fair. My pleasure.
Hi, I'm Jonah.
Hi, Jonah. I'm Greg Nelson, test pilot currently. I've been doing that for about 6 years now with Lockheed Martin, flying U-2. Before that, I was active duty U.S. Air Force for 21 years, and most of that time was also on the U-2. I did a 6-year operational tour, 6 years of flight test out at Edwards and Palmdale, 6 more years operational. And before all that, I was a T-37 IP and a T-38 IP. And before that, I was a civilian. So that's what I did in the Air Force.
Okay, so how long were you a pilot?
Like I said, I was a pilot 21 years in the Air Force. I flew the entire time, which is pretty unusual.
Yeah.
But that also caps your rank a little bit. But I didn't mind. I preferred to fly.
Yeah.
And before I got in the Air Force, I was a private pilot for a couple of years. And been flying different airplanes since I got out of the Air Force for about the last 6 years. Some for Lockheed, some for Eclipse Aviation, some for the United States Forest Service. Just kind of bounced around with little jobs.
What would you do if you couldn't be a test pilot?
I'd probably be an engineer, or maybe just retire. But being a test pilot's like a dream come true.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to work.
So how long have you been at Lockheed?
About 6 years now. So I started. I was when I got out of the Air Force, I didn't initially go to Lockheed, but after about a year of being out, they needed a U-2 test pilot, and there's not a whole lot of U-2 test pilots around. So they knew I was underemployed and gave me a call. So I showed up.
What was the hardest part of school when you were young?
Oh man, probably foreign languages.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I liked math. I liked the engineering. I didn't see much use for English. I thought I spoke it pretty good. I don't know why I had to take that. But now I understand. But at the time I was like, well, I already, anyway, yeah. So
Did you have any challenges in school?
any challenges in school? Like college or high school?
And college.
Colleges? Not really. I think I did really well in college, which was good because I didn't do all that good in high school. So I knew I needed to sharpen up when I got to college.
How long did you work at Edwards? It was 22 years or
Only 6 years.
6 years?
Yeah.
22
So 22 in the Air Force, so yeah. So when I was at Edwards, I flew U-2s of all things and T-38s test support.
What is the coolest mission you ever had?
Wow, there's been a lot of good ones in the U-2. Like one that comes to mind is over the former Yugoslavia. It's a kind of an older model U-2 I was flying at the time. And as I was coming back home, had a main AC generator that failed, and our standby AC generator didn't pick up the load fast enough, so I lost my inertial navigation system. And the sun was just going down, there was clouds everywhere, and I lost most of my main instruments.
What is your favorite plane to fly?
The one that's full of gas.
What's the best part of your job?
By far the flying, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, getting to strap on a high performance airplane
Uh-huh.
is definitely the best part of my job.
If you could have any job, what would it be?
Probably test pilot.
Where did you first get interested in airplanes?
High school.
High school.
Yeah. So when I was in high school, I was building models and flying radio control models and little wire control models. And
Yeah.
I remember all those. And I grew up here in the Antelope Valley, so I used to see all the high performance airplanes flying all the time and go, well, one day I want to do that.
Yeah.
My name is Lilly Brown and I'm in first grade.
It is a pleasure to meet you, Miss Lilly. I'm Todd Erickson, and I'm currently a test pilot for Virgin Galactic for both White Knight and Spaceship Two. And before that, I spent 23 and a half years in the U.S. Air Force, the last 15 or so out at Edwards Air Force Base doing flight tests for the U.S. Air Force in F-16s and other airplanes.
When did you first get interested in airplanes?
So I've been interested in airplanes since I was your age. My dad was an airline pilot and loved airplanes himself, so I grew up in a house where we loved airplanes, and I had a chance to fly at a very young age, and that really got me interested. How's that? Is that pretty cool? Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You are so welcome.
Wait.
Vehicle.